Welcome to the Chakra Diva show. Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with me. And this week we have another special guest. I'm going to introduce a paranormal investigator. And he has so many titles, I can't even tell you. He has done a lot in his 30-some years. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Charles Kern. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Thank you. I'm so glad you are able to come on tonight. So I have you as a paranormal investigator. I know that you probably have other titles that are long and big and loud in your face, but that is pretty much the summons of what you do right now is paranormal investigations. I want to tell everybody how I met you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So I was doing a rescue mediumship workshop, and I thought it would be really cool for people who are not mediums to be able to have the opportunity to talk to spirits. And how else do you do that without buying some tools, right, from the paranormal investigations? And Charles posted on our Facebook page that he sells these awesome tools. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to get one. So that has, our introduction to each other, maybe a few months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I don't even know now.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. And we were able to go out and do some investigations together. So we're going to talk about that as well. Can you tell me, how did you start investigating 20 some years ago?
Well, I've always had an interest in it. I guess as a kid, I'd go to the library and research everything on paranormal stuff. When I started college, I worked in the photography department part-time to make some extra money. And there was a guy that had came in and he had some negatives that somebody had taken a picture from the Levi Strauss mansion. And at the bottom right-hand corner of the picture, you could actually see there was like a little monk, and it looked like his eyes were missing, and it looked like he was holding a crystal ball, and he had a flask in his arm. And they gave me the negative and let me make a bunch of prints and blow it up and try and figure it out. So that was really, at 18, I guess, my first introduction, and that really started piquing my interest.
That's amazing. So for me, I never wanted to go into paranormal investigating because although I talk to dead people all the time because I'm a medium, but something about investigations always scared me. So I started maybe in 2017, and I would have rules like, you guys can't touch me. You guys can't come home with me. You can't do this, right? But for you, you went all in. You're like, I'm curious. I love this. What is it?
Right.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you ever go back and find like the monk or have any conversations?
No, I actually never went there. It's just, he had, way back when, before they had digital cameras, they had the 35 millimeter film. And so I actually had the negatives to the pictures that were taken that they got back from Photomat, if anybody's here is old enough to know what Photomat is. And I was using those negatives to print the pictures.
You're still in your young 30s, so it's all counting in there, right? All right, that was your interest. I love when they show up on pictures. Like for me, when I'm looking at a house, I feel like that's their way of communication. They just show up and you can see their face, you can see their outline. And there's more ghosts around us than I think people want to know or admit. Is that your experience?
Yes, I think so. I think everybody is curious about it. Nobody definitely knows. But yeah, I think everybody has an interest in ghosts. And I definitely think there's more spirits around than people want to acknowledge.
So one of my titles for you is Ghost Whisperer. And that's because you always can pick them up on a spirit box. And that was the first instrument that I bought for you, was a spirit box. And I even brought mine. And I loved our conversation because when you gave it to me, you're like, you're going to keep it in your car all the time and talk to ghosts. And I thought, no, I'm not. I'm not going to keep it in my car. But because of you, I have a bag, a toolkit of every ghost instrument that I can have, from rods to K2 meter to the spirit box, and extra batteries because I have learned in my car with me. And you just drive around, you get out, you speak to them, and they speak back to you right away. is there anything to it? Like, do you have to, what's your secret? What's the sauce to that? Because they don't speak for me.
No, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know if it's because you've been doing it for so long. Like it's just like when you talk to dogs or talk to animals for so long, they start to communicate back, those kind of things. Like they're just used to what you do and your style of it. Maybe that's it. You disappeared.
I
Are you
think we're
there?
having technical difficulty.
That's all right. I have you now. Is he okay now?
Yeah, you were talking very slow. I couldn't understand anything really that you said.
Some tips to use in the spirit box.
Okay. So actually, can you show yours? I think yours shows better. So there's several different types of spirit box. This is my favorite one right now, which is the SB11. This one has the ability to turn the radio signal off while you're trying to get the EVPs, which is nice. So a lot of people think that the radio coming through is basically what you're hearing, which could be. But if you disconnect the antenna, it's a little more likely that if you're getting answers to questions, that it is a response more so than just some radio garb coming through.
And this one has two radios, so you can use any frequency, either frequency, right?
You can do AM, FM, you can do AM and FM at the same time. You can adjust the speeds. It really does a lot. It's a nice unit to play with,
It also
especially for the money.
Earphones, right? These little headphones so that you can hear it on like things that you wouldn't hear in the normal. Because when you play it back, it's hard to hear things. It's hard to pick up their frequency, I find. So if you have these little earbuds in, it plays better.
I usually record mine with my iPhone, so I can have a way of playing it back. If you listen to it with your earphones, you really don't have a way to record it, so you're kind of listening to it one time. Whereas if you turn your iPhone or your Droid on video and you're just recording the whole session as you're doing it, you can listen back and hear what you caught. A lot of times we'll hear things in real time, so you'll actually hear a response. So I might say, can you say hello? And you might hear a response that says hello, and you can hear it in real time. And other times you may not hear anything, but when you listen back through everything you recorded, you may get a few responses that you didn't hear live. So I would definitely recommend not using the headphones and using your phone as a way to record what you're getting.
Yeah, that's good advice so that you can hear it back. The other instrument that I bought is the clicker, and I call it the clicker because you literally turn it on and you turn it off by a click. So this is something I can get down with because it's just easy to use. It's like a little remote. So it's the K2 meter.
Right, that's a K2 meter, and basically it just picks up electromagnetic fields. The belief is that spirits are energy, so when they're forming or manifesting, the lights on that should light up like a Christmas tree if the spirit's present.
So I've been out in investigations with you a few times, and one of my favorite things that I love about you and your style is that you like to debunk. Like you don't just go all in and say, okay, we have a field of spirits here. You like to find out where, the K2 meter is going up or why is it coming up. So you have a very intellectual point of view to it. It's very like, you don't go one way. You have a lot of common sense with it. And I think that if you were going to give advice to investigators, that they should go in with the open mind that it could be something or it could not be something. Do you feel the same way?
Yes. I mean, obviously I have my beliefs on it and I do believe that spirits exist, but that doesn't mean that every single thing that we pick up is a spirit. It also doesn't mean that everybody that thinks they have a haunting, that it really is a haunting. There's many other things that it could be. So you really have to be like methodical and think everything through and, ask all the right questions and pretty much exhaust every other thing it could be before you declare something haunting.
Although I do like it when they respond to you instantly. You have tons of them.
Yeah, I post a lot of them on my Instagram, and we have a Facebook group too. So over the last year is when I've really started just adding things to social media so other people could listen.
So, what is your favorite place to investigate?
Well, locally, my go-to is Stepping Stone Museum
Okay.
because one, it's free to get in. So if you're looking for a good place to go and investigate, that's a great place. Um, there's been a lot of people that actually work at the museum who have had experiences in the mansion there. Um, it's pretty much my go-to if I'm too busy with work or my wife has a big honey-do list that I need to do, or the kids have a lot of stuff going on. If I just want to run up and grab something really quick to throw, a quick video up on my social media, that's one of my go-tos because there hasn't been one time when I've gone there and haven't gotten, 5 or 10 or 12 responses in a short
Amazing.
amount of time.
So, what's your furthest destination, favorite destination place to go to?
There is no favorite. I enjoy going to all of them. You know, I, if we're not doing an official investigation where somebody's asked us or invited us to come out to either their business or their home to do an investigation, I usually like to hit like historic spots. Um, Gettysburg is always a good place to go. And, Antietam. There's so much bloodshed at both those places. I mean, it's almost impossible for those places not to be haunted. Um, Anywhere of like big historical um, significance is a really good places to go to.
Okay. On my list is still Fort McHenry. Like, without a doubt, I want to go there. That would be one of them. But it's not just like these big places that are always haunted. It can actually be streets, right? It could be where you think that houses are just houses, but something may have been, burned down or rebuilt or whatever the history is on top of it. So it's almost like this energy that's still built on top and on top of it. And I found it very interesting because people sometimes are like, you know what, there's no ghost in cemeteries. I find that one interesting because I find ghosts in cemeteries all the time. But I have people that tell me that there's not. What's your experience?
Well, I think that there are ghosts in cemeteries. My personal belief, I mean, look, cemeteries aren't really for the dead, they're for the living. It's to give a place for, loved ones to go visit and say that they miss them and things like that. But I've gotten countless EVPs from cemeteries. One of the cemeteries, I mean, some of them are ones communicating. There's been cemeteries I've gone to where I've asked names and I actually received full names back. One time I was walking up to a headstone and I heard something and I said, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And I heard "stay back." So it's like they were telling me like, "Stay back from my headstone." So, um, I definitely think that you can go to cemeteries and catch some EVPs if that's what you want to do, but, just be a little respectful there as opposed to some other places.
Yes, yes, I agree with you 100%. I wanted to say, like, your website and on your Facebook page, first of all, what is the name of your page?
It's First Call Paranormal, spelled out.
I love it. Like, that's something that you can never forget. And it's like a good title that just always rings in your ear all the time. Like, who are you going to call when it's paranormal? The first call you make. First call
Right.
paranormal, right? It's so catchy. I love it. So anyhow, what I was going back to is your page. You have a list of all these EVPs. You can actually hear them and you pick them up really well. So it's, well, like I said, you're the spirit whisperer, right? But it's awesome to see how this stuff is actually set out and it's real. And you also do tours too. That's coming up.
Right. When our museum opens, we're going to be, I've had countless people reach out to me um, by direct message on Facebook and emails, asking to go on investigations. So we are going to do some tours and real investigations where we'll take some people out and bring the equipment and do like a little mini investigation at, some various places. So yeah, that's on schedule when our museum opens up.
All right. So you just let the cat out of the bag. Tell me about this museum that you're opening up. What kind of museum? What's in it?
So it's a paranormal and oddities museum. So it's going to be a fun place. It'll be a combination of some paranormal stuff. There's actually going to be an EVP room where we'll loop together a whole bunch of the EVPs that we've caught over the years, and we'll have a bunch of other evidence and things that we've collected. There's also going to be a lot of oddity stuff, um, things from like the Dime Museum and P.T. Barnum and that kind of stuff, and then we'll have we'll have a Bigfoot exhibit and a whole bunch of fun stuff. So there'll be a little bit of it'll be a fun museum. It won't be boring at all. There'll be a lot of interesting stuff that you won't see other places.
I love that because we don't have anything around here like that. And Havity Grace, if you guys are not aware, Havity Grace is in Maryland and it's haunted as it is. It is my favorite town. I actually got married in Havity Grace without knowing anything about it. I was just drawn to it and said, I have to be married here. And that was like 40 minutes away from where I lived at. It's a small, quiet town. I shouldn't say quiet. It's a small, like there's a few streets that you go down to. Everybody's very friendly. I don't know how else to say it. It's amazing.
It's a waterfront town that sits right off of the Chesapeake Bay. There's a lighthouse. There's a bunch of little quaint, shops and restaurants. There's actually right now 12 museums in Havity Grace. So the Oddities and Paranormal Museum is going to be lucky number 13 for the town. So we're excited to be number 13. But yeah, there's a lot to see there. It's a nice little town, and it's you could easily spend a day or so visiting all the places in town. And it's got a lot of historical significance too. During the War of 1812, they were invaded by the British, and they pretty much sacked the whole town.
And then there was a big fire that burned everything down.
Right.
So it's like energy on top of energy that's there. And there's soldier energy, there's Native American energy, there's antiques in there, tons of antiques. So it's like all this compiledness together, and it makes the perfect location for you, I think. I love it. I can't wait to explore in there. But you're also hosting events, correct?
Correct.
So I think of it like, back in the day, you would spend your little money, get some popcorn, and watch things, correct?
Right. So we're going to have a bunch of different events that you may not see other places. Some of it will be duplicates, but one day we might have a tarot card reader. One day we might have a psychic. One day we might have a sword swallower. Day we might have somebody come in and give a lecture on Bigfoot. So we have all kinds of plans in the work, and got some big ideas that we're going to pull off. So it'll be fun.
Everybody's going to be raving about it. This psychic already knows your future. Can I say that?
It's already talked to the town. Like, we just listed it on Facebook the first weekend. We just decided to move ahead with this project, and by the end of the weekend, I just had thousands of messages in my inbox, like thousands, like in a weekend. It was just insane, and everybody's definitely talking about it. So we're thankful to have the support from everybody. I had a couple people reach out, and we immediately started a committee. Brian Goodman's been a huge asset for us getting everything together, and James Taylor and Matt Lakes wrote a bunch of books. He wrote all the Weird Maryland and Weird this and Weird that, and he's been helping us some with the project too. So yeah, we're excited, and of course my wife has been very supportive and helpful too, and not yelling at me too much for spending too much time getting everything ready. So it's been it's a big step, but we're excited.
I love it. It's an absolute blessing for the town too, because I think it's something that we all need together, and it brings a uniqueness to the town too. It's not just, it's something completely out of this world, different. Can you share just one little thing that you have in the museum? Just one? Tell me about it. You don't have to share it.
We have a handwritten letter from Edgar Allan Poe that we're going to have on display.
No way.
So that's a pretty exciting piece.
That's a very exciting piece. So I'll be signing up for it. I will be joining in your museum.
Miss Nini even has an Edgar Allan Poe ladder, so it's a big piece for us to have.
That's a huge piece. Absolutely. And so do you, when you like bring everything in, do you like scan it with your machines? Do you like do the EVPs on it or a spirit box on it? Because you can have things attached to items.
Right? No, we're not there yet. We have Gator Girl coming, and I think she's a little haunted, but
I
we
don't know
haven't
what
really been
Gator
checking
Girl
those
is.
for spirits.
What's a Gator Girl?
Gator Girl's half alligator, half girl.
Oh, coming to the museum?
Coming to the museum.
She may have something with her. Maybe the spirit of an alligator.
You may.
And I don't know, you also work with a huge team too, right? For your investigations. And you do house services and you also do businesses as well.
Right.
Okay. And you've been doing this work for 20 years, like you know your stuff.
Right.
That's
I know
amazing.
as much as anybody else does, but I like to put the information out there and everybody can kind of decide for themselves. Like I said,
That's
I think that our group catches from everything that I've seen, like I think we catch the best EVP. So if you check out our Instagram, you can clearly hear the responses that we're getting. You don't have to play it back 20 times to try and figure out what it's saying. There's one on there from Jerusalem Mill, for example. There was during the Civil War, there was a Quaker there that made arms for the Union. And the Confederates came in and raised it. There was a guy named Harry Gilmore. And after the war, Harry Gilmore actually became the sheriff of Baltimore City, but they raided the place. They took the arms. They actually captured a general. And allegedly, one soldier died during that skirmish, but it's kind of like they can't really document everything. But I was standing on the front porch of the house and I asked, "How did you die?" And I heard a response that I didn't quite understand. And I said, "I'm sorry, what did you say?" And you clearly hear them say, "Gunshot to my head." So getting like those kind of answers that you can clearly hear, they're answering the question. It's exciting because, it's really cool to get a picture of a ghost. But for me, the spirit box is just my favorite because it's actually communication.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody can say you can doctor a picture and you can do Photoshop, and you can do this, you can do that. But it's a lot harder to doctor like recordings like this. And when you're hearing them in real time, and like I said, it's answering the question. It's pretty exciting.
So the other thing, we went, I think we were at the antique store and you used a REM pod, the red thing.
So that's very similar to your K2 meter, your clicker. It just beeps when something walks up to the antenna. So it's pretty much the same thing, but it also has like temperature detection and some other things that the K2 meter doesn't have. So it's a little bit better piece of equipment.
I love it. So all of my equipment comes into my cute little pink bag and I put it into my car and then I take everything out as I go. And you showed me your kit is like this really nice case with styrofoam that you cut everything out for every little piece in it. And I thought, okay, I got to upgrade my equipment to that. So we have to wrap up because we have only 1 minute left. I want to mention that the museum is opening during the spring or summertime through there. So be sure that you are on the First Call Paranormal website and on Facebook. And you can find out when the museum opens, when tours are going to be going out, all the information. Is there anything that I left out, Charles?
Just if you're interested in getting any of the paranormal equipment, you can visit our website at firstcallparanormal.com.
Yes. And I'm telling you, the equipment is top notch, really good stuff. And I like it as a medium because I get to hear, I hear ghosts and I hear people talk to me. And then in the middle of the night, I'm like turning on my clicker and I'm like, where are you? I can find you in this room. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday evening. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Charles.